Pemex is a company that is under control of the Mexican government. Along the history of the company, there had been two CEOs. The first one was Emilio Lozoya Austin. He was the CEO of the company until the February 8th of this year. Then they changed to the new CEO, who is Dr. José Antonio González Anaya. As a new business plan from 2014 to 2018, where they want to evaluate themselves by an internal evaluation about their strengths and weaknesses. They try to reach the domestic demands of oil in Mexico, and to distribute the oil they have infrastructure that consists of 37,651 kilometers of pipeline around the country, 77 distribution terminals, 12 liquefied gas terminals, 6 maritime terminals, and facilities in both countries, in both coasts of the country, whose main function are loading and unloading oil. Also, they have secondary distributors like cars and light tanks. To distribute liquefied petroleum gas, they depend on a large pipeline that is named Cactus Guadalajara, which is one of the biggest pipelines in Mexico. It has a maximum capacity of 424,000 barrels per day, and it's 1 point. Solo comienza con el número. 1,231 1,231 kilometers long. Here we have a chart from the 2008 to 2012 that shows the ways to distribute the oil. We have the use of pipeline, ships, light trucks, and heavy trucks. All the ways, the percentages of use of all these ways has kept steady around these 5 years. For example, the use of pipeline has been fluctuating between 62.7 and 57.9, that is the minimum and the maximum percentage. The use of ships has been fluctuating between 33.3 and 30.2. Well, the oil is obtained from these three regions. The most popular region is Maya, then the Olmeca, and finally the Ismon. And the oil is exported to Europe, America, and other countries, where the most popular country to export is America.
Pemex is the abbreviation of Petróleos Mexicanos, and so they took the first two letters of petroleum and they joined it with the first three letters of Mexicanos, so they joined them and it makes Pemex. Pemex is a state company that is in charge of creating petroleum and the exploitation of energy resources like raw oil, and mainly in Mexican territory and also in other foreign countries. Pemex produces many products, and the main products of Pemex are diesel, gasoline magna, premium magna, natural gas, liquid gas, raw oil, and asphalt. So, here we have a graphic where it says about 3 years how many products do we have been selling. So the more products have sold this 3 years are liquid gas, gasoline, diesel, combustible, and quercenas and others. So as we can see, the most sold product is gasoline. Here we have another graphic that says that raw petroleum or oil is more produced than any other materials. As we can see, from 2014 to 2016, we see that raw petroleum, heavyweight raw petroleum. Pemex distribute all their products around all the world, mainly Mexico, as we can know. And the principal company or the principal states that are produced, gasoline and all these products I was telling you, are in these states: Campeche, Tabasco, Veracruz, Tamaulipas, and Chiapas.
Let's talk about the Pemex history. The 7th of June in 1938 in Mexico, the Congress of the Union ended with an international polemic. Since the President Lázaro Cárdenas was elected in 1934, he confronted too many disagreements, almost to the point of attempt coups. His terms had been remembered as failed and dark terms, unless if he had not gotten the approbation of the law. For the consternation of the world, the decision of the Mexican Congress was a political revolution that obviously affected them. This position provoked the breaking of the British-Mexican relations. The law affected American enterprise too. Nevertheless, the passive actions of the American government led for Roosevelt that practiced the policy of good neighbor prevent the break of the relations between Mexico and the United States of America. This policy was what made possible the emergence of Pemex. This period could not be better for the Pemex emerging proudly while Europe was debated between prevent the war or dispute it, and the United States of America was trying to rise up their economy after to the Great Depression. Thus the international situation was helpful. The national situation was not so good. The people were upset. They cannot see reflects the ideas of the revolution in the new government's ideas, but actually the law could be accepted in the Congress for the necessity that the people had to create a new image about Mexican people, and Pemex will create an industrial image for Mexico. This will help to forget the old image of the country. Well, Pemex has many subdivisions. With the end of the reach, the highest production in America, one of these is Pemex, Logistica. This subdivision saves the product and transports this through pipelines, ships and trucks. For Mexico, the trucks carry the complete products to the gas stations.
We, choo- we choose Pemex because we thought that is the most important company in Mexico and also one of the most important in the world. When we started to research information about Pemex, we noticed that Pemex have some advantage and disadvantage, some issues and some problems that the government wants to improve. Maybe it will be positive or negative, but they are trying to improve it. Pemex, Pemex is not just a petroleum company. Pemex also care about in other sectors, such as gas, oil, and electricity. However, corruption, inefficient way of handling the company, and many other facts made Pemex to introduce into a new way to save the company. This is when the new reforms of energy introduced in Mexico system. Pemex is the largest company in Mexico and one of the largest oil companies in the world. For several decades, Pemex accounted for one third of the tax revenue paid in Mexico and in the Mexican government in the form of oil taxes and other associated taxes. Here, right now, I'm going to show you a graphic that explains better. As you can see, we have taxes that it is the 64% of the government revenue, other percent is 6%, and Pemex gives to the Mexican people the 30% of the government revenue. So that's why it is very important all the revenue that Pemex gives. The energy reform was proposed and eventually passed by the government in December with the intent to encourage private sector investment and introduce competitive market alongside Pemex. Pemex wishes to find companies willing to improve production by offering using their technology and the money. The energy industry sees this a positive move able to provide benefits to the Mexican economy. Not only will local labor be needed to help build new infrastructure and provide new services, but experts also estimate that Mexico's long-term GDP growth, domestic production, could rise between 1.5 and 2.3% as a result of the energy market reform, providing a general benefit in the economic that will be benefit by to the Mexican people. Also, as well as this, access to private sector capital to build new electricity infrastructure will provide the Mexican government with the ability to divert funds spent on the electricity system to other area focus.